Hello and welcome. First off, Darren, I know you didn't see SmackDown,
I haven't. Yes.
so
This
I
is
would
true.
I would assume that means that you are not feeling particularly Ucey today.
Oh no, I don't. I don't like that at all.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a podcast all about wrestling. In this corner, an author and a black belt, Kibbles.
Kibbles? What kind of name is that?
Pookie the Wolf is the best.
I forgot my copies. And in this corner, Pookie the Wolf.
Pookie the Wolf is one of the best.
Welcome to the Kibbles and Pookies Squared Circle.
Okay.
Real intro.
Welcome everybody. It's been a very long time.
It has been a long time.
Long time. Anything
Long
new
time.
happened since then?
It's so much.
Yeah.
There's too much new.
What about with your life?
I got married.
Oh my goodness.
She liked it and she put a ring on it.
That's a big one.
That is a big one.
I'm glad you started off with that. I have nothing going on.
Nothing at all.
Still nothing.
No,
Still
you were
nothing going on.
live streaming on YouTube a little bit more.
I started doing that a little bit more, and that's been a fucking fight in general.
Really?
I'm gonna start working on getting a USB cable, or not a USB, Ethernet cable up to my computer, because I'm just running on Wi-Fi. I'm like, maybe if I just kind of
shit. Yeah, you should.
straight wire
Definitely.
it and just. The problem is I have to drill a hole into the ceiling to
Oh.
get upstairs. So I'm trying to
I got you.
work with the landlord, as they say, to get that situated.
That
So
shouldn't be that hard.
it's not. It's just kind of like a wear. At this point, it's like wear that doesn't make it look like a mess.
Good point. That's valid.
To be like, it's just strung up all over the house. Like
That's
you can
valid.
find me by just finding where the wire goes.
Yeah, you could go.
Um,
You could go outside. That's what we did. Our Ethernet box is actually down in the back porch,
Mhm.
and so there's a hole that goes outside because that's where it needs to connect to the cable. So we just used that same hole, came up around the whole house, and come in a hole over here.
That actually wouldn't be a bad idea. Because then
Although I will
go-
say, going outside of the house is also a huge pain in the ass.
yeah, but
depending on where you're going.
I could probably do it. Actually, no problem if I can work out. If I go, actually, that might be what I go with. Which I'm
It's
glad
not a bad play.
I'm glad brought up. You
Yeah.
brought up the streaming thing, and I'm like, I'm glad I brought this up to you because now I'm like, that would be a good idea.
Yeah, it's not a bad play.
Yeah, it's. I mean, other than that, it's been. As far as wrestling is concerned, I have been working on something with a kind of like a up down down draft thing with Bones.
Nice. Oh, I want to see that.
Yeah, I'm really
Like,
excited because I wanted to get someone who because you mentioned it to me when you saw I downloaded it on Steam and you're like, what's that about? I'm like, I'm working on something, and I was like, it would be fun to do it with Kibbles, but I wanted to do someone who doesn't really know like.
Oh yeah,
To
it'd
the
be way
extent-
funnier.
He went at Extreme Rules just to see Bray Wyatt. He's like,
Yeah.
I don't know any of these fucking other people besides Liv Morgan, and that's because of the oh fuck thing.
Yeah.
Everybody else, he's like, I have no clue who these people are. So, like, even when we went to AEW, he's like, I have no clue. So,
Yeah.
so much happened, though.
No, I'll be honest. I think watching Bones, who doesn't know about what's up, I think
Yeah.
him would be funnier than
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Like a battle of the brands, up down down thing.
kind of
Okay,
like that.
Cool.
Yeah, I want to do something like that because it's gonna be
Similar.
hard because there's not. Because with I don't know if you've ever seen we did the Quarry and like a lot of the Dark Anthology games.
Yeah.
We just kind of remote stream it
Mm-hmm.
to all of us so that we can all see what's going on,
Yeah.
and then kind of transfer control over to each other so that way we could just play our parts.
Gotcha.
So like when one of us is up, we're like, okay, it's your turn, and then he gives control to whoever it's up. So like if we did it that way, we could make it seem like he's there with me, but doesn't have to come all the way from New Jersey to come do it.
Yeah, you could do it online.
And I really want him to do it. I really want to explain to him Danhausen
You can on the line.
on the line.
On the line.
So
So
wow,
let me-
I don't know where the fuck to start. Go ahead.
I know where to start. So to explain our cold open, because you didn't watch SmackDown,
Yeah, something about Ucey.
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 You're not
Sorry, yeah.
feeling Ucey. So
Sorry, I thought I was some other word.
So the Bloodline are in the ring, all of them, right? And Roman does his thing, and he's like, you guys acknowledged me, so now we need to acknowledge the elephant in the room. And he's like, you two need to squash this thing right now. And he's talking about Jay and Sammy.
And Sammy, yeah.
And so Sammy is like, blah blah blah, like, I'm friends. I love, Roman. Like, why Like, I don't know what your deal is with me. And so Jay goes into this whole thing about, like, how can you be in the bloodline when you're not blood? Which makes sense. So,
I'm assuming he did this like almost in a yelling way.
yes. And so Sammy said, but this is what the tribal chief wants. And then Jay immediately follows up with, I don't give a damn what the tribal chief says. And Roman, because Roman's looking away from them, he's like straightforward, not looking at them. And he goes, and he looks up like he's pissed. He turns around and he's staring Jay, and Jay's just like trying to be straight faced, right? So then Sammy leans in and he goes, oh no. He's like, no, he didn't. And like Sammy's trying to play peacemaker, and he goes, no, he didn't mean it. He didn't mean it. He, he's very stressed right now with this and that. And he's like listing some things. He's feeling very stressed, and he's just not feeling very Ucey. And I shit you not, he says Ucey. Roman Reigns legit turns and fucking laughs. He breaks. Him and Jay both break. Roman like half breaks. And then the audience starts chanting Ucey, and that's when Roman just full on loses it and laughs. And it's fucking hilarious. And then through the rest of the thing, Roman is like being smiley and like funny about it. And while he's doing it, Jay keeps rubbing his face with his hands and putting his head down because Jay is trying so hard not to laugh.
Yeah.
Because Roman is being like Roman's being smiley and stuff, but he's being like deadpan with it. And and Roman goes on this whole rant about like if you don't if you don't fall in line, or like if you don't something, I forget what it was. If you don't whatever it is, then maybe I'll take honorary off his shirt and make him an Uce. And then he goes, hell, maybe we'll make him full on bloodline and we'll change his name to Sammy Uso. And so the audience starts chanting Sammy Uso. This bloodline thing with Sami Zayn is the most
with
fucking
Sami
entertaining
Zayn, it really
thing.
works. I really don't like it, except like Sami Zayn's really making it work. Like I watched a Twitter clip of him.
It's easily the most entertaining thing on SmackDown.
The four of them were talking to the one woman, and the woman's like, you guys okay now?" He's like, yeah. He's like, we have to go. We have to head out to the Waffle House. And then like one of them was just like, Waffle House? Like, and I was like, that's funny. That's just, it's just silly.
Next to Bray Wyatt, it is actually, honestly, right now at the moment, I would say it's more entertaining than Bray Wyatt. Like the Bray stuff is cool, but like it hasn't fully, the Bray Wyatt stuff hasn't fully kicked in yet. So like this is the most entertaining thing in WWE right now.
So the thing I wanted to mention about
and I'll close with one remark before you say something. Sorry,
go ahead.
I don't mean to cut you off.
It's about SmackDown, but go ahead.
I honestly desperately want this to end with Sami Zayn beating Roman for the championship at WrestleMania.
Really?
I want this to be the end of the story. It's not going to be, but I feel like that would be such a fucking amazing conclusion to the story. That's my 2 cents.
The concept of so Bray Wyatt introduced Uncle Howdy or whatever the guy's name is, and it's honestly just him. For people who aren't like watched it, it's just him with like blue face paint and like something going on with his one eye, but like a mustache.
Oh,
I shit you not.
I must ask you a question.
There's a British show called The Mighty Boosh, which me and one of the Waffletown guys, AJ,
I've heard of this show.
Love it. Okay, there's a character named the Hitcher,
and when I say heard of it, I've heard of it through you.
Yeah, I shit you not, looks like the Hitcher. Without the lifesaver on his eye, he looks like the top hat and the blue skin. That's what I thought of when I was like, that looks like the Hitcher from Mighty Boosh, which is not a serious character at all. Like, not at all. Like, one of the quotes AJ gave me the other day, but I had to say it to AJ. I was like, AJ, Bray Wyatt, I was like, you know of Bray Wyatt? He's like, I know of him. And I go, there's a character that he's doing now called Uncle Howdy who looks like the Hitcher from Mighty Boosh. And he's like, he said some quote, and I was like, I don't remember because I haven't seen the episodes. But like, it just reminded me of that, and it's really creepy. If you get a chance to look up the Hitcher in Mighty Boosh, it's just
All right.
without the lifesaver on his eye, it looks like
All right. I'll check it out.
it's just like I wish someone did a comparison to the two,
Yeah.
or at most like an old Greg looking character, like
Okay. Yeah,
very
okay.
creepy looking.
Yeah.
It's the blue skin,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah.
So, okay. I will definitely check. I also need to check out the Bray Wyatt thing in general.
Yeah,
It's
really
from this
weird.
week.
It's so what's weird about
Because the only thing I've seen from SmackDown is Ucey.
well, because you know what the weird thing about all of it is that like you got married on the day that Bray Wyatt came back.
Yeah.
We were like just kind of like hinting at it with the White Rabbit stuff, and wasn't really sure of it. I'm glad it is. Like I said, I'm glad it is. If it was somebody else, I think it's hilarious for people to be like, "Oh, it's Bray Wyatt." But I'm
if it
glad
wasn't, I
it
think there'd be
is.
a world of disappointment.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But the concept that so far this has been a thing where like it's really weird the way he's doing his promos. Have you seen some of them? Because they're so strange.
Yeah.
Production wise, like they'll just cut him off halfway during like the one on Friday night. It was like he was talking and then the lights go out and then Uncle Howdy just appeared on screen and I'm like, are you guys like interacting with each other or are you just jumping to that thing? Like he's almost like he was mid sentence and the light just went out.
Yeah. Well, that's what they did with the
first
person
night.
yeah that was in the White Rabbit mask. He did a regular one the week after. It was backstage though.
Yeah.
Where he didn't get cut
It's
off.
really weird.
Yeah. So with the first one, I was like, is this like another piece of his like ego? Like, are they trying to go for a split personality type weird thing where he will interact with himself? But like now, I don't know. I don't quite know where this is going. And that's fine. I'm not saying I need to know where it's going, but
Yeah,
it is weird. It's almost like they brought him back, and like sometimes I'm like, do you guys know what? Like, did you guys think through what you were doing before you started doing
know
stuff?
what you're doing before you brought him back, or he's just
Yeah.
kind of been like, fuck it.
I mean, maybe they do, maybe they don't. But I mean, I guess I also question that when I mean, I will say that I'll watch it play out because when he came back and was doing the Mr. Rogers gimmick, the first like the first like week or two of that, I was like,
like,
what the fuck is this? And then it got really good. So like,
yeah,
I can't discount him, right? I got to be like,
Yeah.
I got to give it a couple weeks because last time,
He's a slow burn.
yeah, because last time I was like, I don't get it. After like week like 4, like then it turned really cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, I got to give him benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I feel like we have not recorded since he's come back, and it almost seems like not much has happened.
It's like there's nothing to talk about with Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, but
other than
besides
he's
the
back.
fact, besides the fact he's back. I really hate like he's fucking. Supposedly he's supposed to be Uncle Howdy's supposed to be referenced off of his actual uncle, who is another wrestler. Something.
Duty
whatever
Howdy.
it's- Duty Howdy.
Yeah.
Duty Howdy.
Duty Howdy.
Is that his name?
Howdy Duty.
Howdy Doody.
I don't know.
Howdy Doody Doody Howdy. Well, his surname would. Well, his you address him as such. Howdy Doody.
I don't know.
So
I was trying to say, what was Duty Hauser? That's who I was
Dookie
thinking.
Howser?
Yes.
The Neil Patrick
Neil
Harris?
Patrick Harris. That's what I was thinking when I said Duty Hauser.
Huh. That's very far
But
off. That's a very bit of a stretch.
all right, let's move on.
Anyway, so a lot of things I wanted to bring up the fact of there was some stuff I've been wanting to talk about. One, and we can push over it past it real fast because it was something I wanted to mention a while ago.
Oh.
I hate the fucking Bella twins.
Oh, this was not what I thought you were going to say.
This has been something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and it's really simple.
This is not where I thought this was going.
I think that we'll talk about it. I know what you're thinking now. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
The fact that the Bella twins are in the Hall of Fame, and I'm like, I've watched so little. They were in the WWE for maybe 5 years, and somehow they're in the Hall of Fame already.
I think
and
they
I
were
don't-
in longer.
I don't think I might be wrong. My point is that I don't think it's a concept of
Well,
I
the
don't know,
well, the WWE Hall of Fame is
a joke. Oh, sorry, you
Yeah.
were gonna say something.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's like I wouldn't use the term a joke, but it's just a branding
Yeah.
thing. Like it's not.
Drew Carey's there, so I mean,
Yeah.
can't really have that much merit.
Well, it's celebrity. They have a celebrity wing. That's why he's in there.
That's stupid.
I don't know. There's see like that. It's hard
Freddie
to
Prinze
like
Jr. will be in it.
maybe.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
It's hard to describe, right? Because like, I mean, I mean,
I mean,
their
it was
Hall
simple.
of Fame is
Listen,
just a marketing ploy, right? It's to
Listen,
make money.
It's simple. I don't think all I'm saying is, and I'm not, if you want to dispute it, that's fine. All I'm saying is, I don't think they have done enough where I'm going, okay, like I respect that. There are so many other wrestlers who aren't in the Hall of Fame, which are either have stopped wrestling or are retired or still wrestling or have retired, that I'm like, they deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
Right. Well, there's like the whole thing about we'll see that.
And I'm talking female. I'm not talking
Right.
just in general.
Right. Well, there's a number of things that go into it, right? Like there's a number of people that WWE reaches out to pretty consistently that say no, they don't want to go in, they don't want to accept the nomination for whatever reason, right? Because of things past that have happened with WWE, or feeling like the WWE Hall of Fame is not a true Hall of Fame; it's just a marketing ploy.
Yeah.
I'm sure that some people don't want to go in because there's probably some type of Legends contract that goes in with it that they have to sign, and
They
like
have the
merch stuff that they'll have to
Yeah.
deal with, and so I'm sure that's another reason why some people don't bother. And again, some people are because like Owen Hart, right? Like they have to get permission from the family, or maybe they don't have to get permission from the family, but they want permission from the
Yeah.
family, and they're his wife is forever going to say no because of what
Yeah.
happened. Things like that, right? And then there's also there's also like the thought process of it's not a true Hall of Fame because it's not about putting in people that deserve to be in there. Not saying that anybody in there doesn't deserve to be in there, but there's like hey, you've got a headliner, and then you have a few other people that are kind of mid people, and it's like once you have your headliner, then like you tend to not have any other huge names in it because then you're going to run out of huge names to put in, and people won't want to buy the ticket to go to the Hall of Fame and buy the merchandise and all the Hall of Fame money that they make off of that. Like if they put the Undertaker in, they're not going to put Triple H in or The Rock in or Batista in the same year because those are conflicting things that are two different huge money makers, and they don't want to do them the same year because you're not going to make as much money.
I think it's also weird the fact that I have kind of a weird concept of I don't think that anyone that I watched as a kid deserves to be in the Hall of Fame because I'm like anyone who started when I was watching. Like even when you said Batista, I'm like, this Batista. I was like, I guess Batista should.
I would say Batista does.
But it's this weird thing.
I
of
would say
like,
there's a number of people that do.
But yeah, well, when I think about it, but I'm like, when I think about it, I'm like The Rock and Triple H and Stone Cold all go in there because I was before I was even watching it, they were there.
Yeah.
It's that weird. I mean, that's just my standards.
I'll give you one, right? John Cena, 100%
Oh yeah,
deserves to
as
be in
far
the
as
Hall of Fame.
WWE,
Yes.
yeah,
That's an example of somebody who started after.
yeah.
Like even if you were like, oh, Batista's maybe questionable for me. Batista's not questionable for me, but you were like,
Well,
oh, maybe Batista's questionable.
It was weird that you brought up the other people, and they're all people that I've been watching for forever, and then it's just like Batista. I'm like, yeah, I understand. It was kind of weird. Like it was like they were definitely separate. Where I was like, okay, yeah, no, I guess they would be in there.
Yeah, but John Cena, 100%.
Yeah.
I won't debate that. John Cena belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I agree with you. But yeah, Batista was after you said like all these big guys, and I'm like, Batista, who was like, yeah, Batista, but he's like in a different time period. I don't know. It's like a different.
I mean, yeah,
section.
he was a different time period. He was.
And I believe like Batista and John Cena and
Randy Orton, I think.
Orton, yeah, I forgot about Orton. But yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, there's other people I think like he won't be the main star, but I believe for his contributions, Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler both deserve Hall of Fame spots.
That was the thing too, where
they won't be the headliner, but
yeah, but there's someone who goes in it. There was a weird situation with one of the Bellas where she had said something stupid like I forget what it was, but it was for one of the Hall of Fame stuffs. It was something involving, because I saw Jim Cornette commented on it because it was like something like she either thought that Vader was still alive or wasn't dead. One of the two. It was something stupid where like it's that like thing of like, I don't think with those two that they don't have this, and it's not anything about them being a female. There's plenty of women I'm like, they all deserve to be in the, because like say Trish Stratus.
Yep.
She took that shit seriously. In the beginning, she was treated like just a fucking manager, but she took that shit seriously. She worked hard. She did everything she should have done, and she deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. It's just a concept of, I don't see a lot of, that's really, and that's one of the only people I see where I'm going like, I don't think they really tried to be in it, but yet they're still in it. It's weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to.
It's all marketing.
I want to get past it. I want to.
It's all marketing.
Whatever the fuck we're talking about now. So I was gonna say something awful. CM Punk.
That was one of the last things we talked about
CM Punk.
before we went on hiatus.
What, something awful?
No, the CM Punk.
Oh. So CM Punk is it still rumored, or is it confirmed that he's not with the company anymore?
Still rumored. I have not seen
Because it's like
any
nothing,
official confirmation.
We have since the.
I will also say that unless it comes from Punk himself or Tony Khan, I don't consider it like AEW.
It's not canon.
I don't consider it to be. I don't consider it to be
it's not canon.
confirmed until it comes from one of them.
I agree.
And ultimately, I think it won't come from Punk. It will come from AEW. At this point, do I believe it's probably true that they're trying to work out a buyout? Yeah, it's probably true.
Well, I mean, he took the sensitivity training. With the Bucks also took it.
Yeah.
Supposedly there were rumors that there was sensitivity training. Punk and the Bucks took it.
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of shit. A lot of people made wrong decisions.
Yeah, but I'm saying like there's a lot of stuff where it goes like, why would you do this thing if you're going to just leave the company anyway? You know what I mean? Like there was rumors of him taking a role as like Dean Malenko, or just being a coach backstage. And
I don't see that happening.
Why?
I don't see him like quit wrestling, but then they keep him as a trainer or something. I just don't see AEW doing that.
I mean,
from a business perspective, I don't see that working out well.
It's because I was going to relate it to Billy Gunn, and Billy Gunn, you can't do that. It's not the same because Billy Gunn doesn't draw a crowd. Like people like Billy Gunn, but CM Punk is too big to. He draws a crowd in. So I mean,
yeah. I don't know. I don't know that Punk would want to do that. I don't know that it makes sense for the company to do that, and
it's another situation of
and potentially put themselves in a position where a situation like this could happen again.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure that's on the company's mind as well. Like, do we need to talk about?
Well,
do we need to put things in place so that way this doesn't happen again?
You would assume that it wouldn't be like they see each other and just absolutely start fighting. You'd assume because like even there's videos of like when he showed up, there was Being Elite vlogs where he's back there with them talking to them.
Oh yeah, I don't think this is something that was an issue when he first came in.
I think that
I think it slowly built while he was there.
Well, I think that the concept of people backstage, or people watching and assuming that because of the fact that CM Punk's track record, they're going to think that the most negative concept between the relationship between CM Punk and Bucks. That could have been mended, and no one knows because they're just going to assume the worst. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's the...
And they're not going to go, let's post a picture of us hugging so people know everything's fine. They're not going to worry. They're probably going to just move on and be like, okay, where do we move on from here?
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. And I think ultimately that is a...
I'm optimistic is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I feel like if fences were mended, then I feel like Punk would stay with the company. I feel like if they buy out his contract and he's leaving, it's because they are, or one side or the other was unwilling to concede.
But do you feel like the most negative, or do you feel like because of his past, do you think that's the most obvious answer of him just leaving, just taking his ball and going home? Because in my head, if this is the second time that people would view me this way, I'd be like, no, I got to make this work so that I'm not seeming like I'm just a fucking little child about it and just have to try to work with people.
right
In my head, I'd be like, I want to work with people and make it so that way they don't think that because after the second point, you're gonna think CM Punk is the issue.
right. Well, that's also part of the question. Does Punk give a shit
Yeah,
about what they think or not,
Hopefully-
or about what other people think or not?
that's what I mean. I'm optimistic because hopefully he does, but who knows?
Like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
We will
I
see.
I think if he leaves the company, I think that is a big indicator that either a number of people stepped in and were like a board of directors type thing, or somebody stepped in and was like, Tony Khan, dude, you gotta get him out. We can't play
Yeah.
ball with him. He's gotta be out. Or one or both sides don't want to play ball and don't want to mend the fence. That doesn't mean that it's not Punk's side that wants to mend the fence. It could be that the Bucks and Omega and All Elite, you know what I mean? Like, they're the ones who don't want to play ball, and then the company is choosing them over Punk. But I think if he stays, then that's a positive thing for Punk. It's a positive thing for the company. I think that means that things were generally mended.
Yeah.
I think if he leaves, then I think that's a sign that things were not mended.
Yeah.
That things were not left on good terms.
Absolutely.
I know that there were a lot of rumors with Bryan Danielson and Moxley and Jericho being incredibly pissed off at the locker room because they had this whole rah-rah speech thing about, like, talking to WWE and leaking things to the press and doing all these things, and then, like, it kind of immediately happens again, like, right after that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember reading rumors and stuff that, like, Jericho was, like, super fucking pissed off about it because he's like, we literally just talked about this, and, like, 5 days later somebody's, like, shooting their mouth off again to, like, Dave Meltzer or some other
Good old Uncle Dave.
some other, it might have not been him, it might have been some other news place, but, or TMZ or something, but, like, it's just interesting that it was kind of like, what the fuck.
It's also the industry of, like, we have this thing where it's just like people are trying to be badasses, but at the same time make sure that the company is thriving. In order for the company to thrive, they need to have this fake persona and pretend. Like, look at Jericho. He wants the company to thrive, but he's playing the most obnoxious douchebag character he can to make sure people are watching.
Yeah.
It's really a hard kind of medium for people to be in that kind of line of work to be like, hold on, wait, are you cool with me, or are you just said a bunch of shit on TV about me? And it's just like that kind of concept of a lot of this stuff gets all fucked up and confused because
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I actually watched this, like, short 7-minute interview thing with RVD where he was talking about, like, he was like, butting heads is bound to happen because you're in an industry where you are, from a very, from very early on, and from all this stuff, like, right, you're kind of taught to be sometimes to be a little bit of a hard head. You're in an industry where you have to have an ego if you want to succeed. If you don't have an ego, you're not going to succeed. And I think that, like, yes, there are certain people that don't have an ego. Like, I don't think Bryan Danielson does, but, like,
no, he doesn't.
If you were to look at the number of people that succeed without the, like, okay, Bryan Danielson, and there's not very many, right? You have to have some type of ego. You have to believe. And the reason why you have an ego is because, to a certain degree, you have to believe your own hype and your own shit to make it.
A lot of the stuff with Bryan Danielson is like, even when he's a bad guy, I feel like he's easily breaking.
Yes.
Like even during the yes thing.
Yeah. So
Like it's just like he's definitely cracking at the fact of like the joke of him just yelling yes and people fucking love it.
yeah. So you're naturally going to define and get people with egos because to succeed, you have to have some level of belief in yourself beyond a certain point, right?
Yeah.
And that makes an ego. And sometimes people have a hard time turning the ego off, and you have to believe your own shit to make it, but then you believe your own shit too much.
Yeah. Exactly.
Which happens with a lot of people.
CM Punk.
I believe CM Punk is one of them.
CM Punk's a big one, I think, and I you could tell that from WWE. His documentary, the Best in the World documentary, that's like, okay, some of this part where I'm like, I don't know if that's true. And I think I've said that before on here.
Well,
I'm like,
the only thing with a WWE produced documentary is that you have to take you have to take it with a grain of salt because WWE is telling the story they want to tell.
You got kayfabe it, brother.
Got kayfabe it.
Hell
But
yeah,
like
brother.
another example is like Stone Cold Steve Austin, right? Like he believed his own shit, and he did believe his own shit to the point where he was like, "We're throwing money away with this Brock Lesnar match," and he walked out.
Yeah.
That's obviously different than being mistreated or feeling like he's being. I mean, yes, it stems from feeling like he's being mistreated, but it's different than the Punk situation. But it is to the same level of saying, "I believe my own hype enough that we're throwing away this money, so I'm walking out instead of throwing away the money."
I feel as if a lot of situations, and this is just a personal thing, if you can at me, write it in the comments, whatever, I don't give a fuck. So, Brock Lesnar reminds me of how Ryback became, except for Brock Lesnar got better. Like, in the beginning, I felt like I was like, you good? He just spilled his tea
I'm good.
everywhere. God,
I'm
can't
good.
take you anywhere.
I'm gonna. You talk. I'm listening.
Okay,
I'm gonna
explain my Brock
towel.
Lesnar situation. I don't hate him. I just think that in the beginning he was treated as if he was getting bumped up because he was huge and big, and sometimes he would botch shit and fuck shit up or injure people or hurt people. And granted, yes, he was wrestling in the dark stuff and the what's the FWC or whatever before or whatever. He was in the dark matches and all that other shit. He was tagged with Shelton Benjamin and whatnot. But the fact of like, I feel like when he beat The Rock at SummerSlam, I'm like, what? That doesn't make any fucking sense. This is The Rock, and this is some fucking loser with a goddamn back tattoo with his spine. It's fucking stupid. That being said, Brock Lesnar, you know, he's a great guy. He has shown himself to be one of those people who has earned everyone's respect in multiple companies, whether it's UFC or the WWE. Because I remember there's a guy who I used to know and work with that was like so against Brock Lesnar until he fucking beat the shit out of some guy in UFC and won the title. And he's like, yeah, Brock Lesnar can actually fight. Because he was like right away, he's like, yeah, it's not gonna, you know, it's not going to.
Well, a lot of people thought Lesnar was gonna get his ass handed to him, and then he was fucking people up in the UFC.
Which once again, we'll bring up CM Punk. But so
here's my thing, right? I have a lot of respect for CM Punk for what he did for UFC. A lot of people.
Yeah, that's part of the thing where you're
a lot of people look at it.
Did it.
A lot of people look at it, and a lot of people are just point out the fact that he got his ass beat. And I look at it and I say, yeah, he got his ass beat. Okay, but like, how many things like have you succeeded at the first time you've like?
Exactly.
Life is about getting beat and yeah, like I was like, here's a guy who saw something that he wanted to do and he went out and he did it. Yeah. And it didn't matter that he didn't have you know what I mean? He saw something he wanted, he went out and he did it. And regardless of whether he won or not, it would be no different than if I said, like, because I view it, right? It'd be no different if I said, I want to write a book. And I put that book out there and I sold like 10 copies to family and friends and that's it. It's not a success.
But you did
I
it.
basically got my ass beat, but I did it.
But you did it.
But I did it.
The revolution is outside. If you want it, you got to go out and get it. That is a paraphrasing because I definitely fucked up the line from a song is a deep cut by Paramore.
What song is it?
It's not a song you know. It's a deep cut that was never released as a song.
Oh.
It's called Cold Cold World. What's called Cold World.
I feel like you've played it for me once because
Probably.
I recognize the lyric.
It's a really great song. There's a lot of deep cuts that should be released and they never were.
Yeah.
Like, there was a
There's-
song called Decoy that was fucking great, and they only do it like live.
Okay. There's also so the other thing with the UFC thing that I actually have had a conversation with someone and changed their mind about is he's really into UFC, like he follows it and all that stuff, and he was pissed off at Punk that he got to like skip the line
And just
and go right to UFC instead of having to do like what these other fighters have to do, which is fight and grind and then go through prelims, like fight and grind for years to get up to UFC level.
Yeah.
And I said CM Punk is a draw, and it's not CM Punk's fault that Dana White saw money,
Yeah. and
brought him in and immediately put him where he put him. Dana White saw money and he went for the money. That's Dana White's fault, not CM Punk's fault.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I explained that to him, and then afterwards he was like, you know what? He admitted, he was like, you know what? You're actually right. Like that has not, like Punk doesn't have any pull to tell Dana White what to do.
He doesn't show up and go, I'm gonna do a fight and slap his dick on the table.
Dana White saw the dollar signs and he went for it. So like that's not Punk's fault that he was immediately thrust into a UFC pay-per-view. And you know, then afterwards he was like, okay, yeah, he's like, yeah, you know what? I was wrong. Like I should be mad at Dana White for that, not CM Punk.
You know what's funny? And I know it's gonna be surprising coming from me. I'm really tired of talking about CM Punk.
Okay, let's talk about something else.
No. Like in general, in a general whole aspect, I'm like, either fucking let us know if he's gonna stay or let us know if he's gonna go. Because either way, I just want to move on with the shit. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like it keeps people at a disadvantage and keeps people like, what are the Young Bucks and Punk doing? When are they gonna come back? Blah blah. It's taking away from the MJF and Moxley thing, which is fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
It
looks like Young Bucks and Omega are on their way back.
No. They got snapped out of existence. Did you see that?
But I think it's going to promo to. I think it's a promo to. Yes, it was a scene from Endgame.
Endgame, yeah.
I think it's a. I think it's them coming back.
I stole that, by the way. That was Nyla Rose who tweeted that.
Did she?
She put the promo up, and she's like, "So, like, did Thanos snap him out or what?"
Yes.
I don't see. Like, this is the thing.
The snap and then the blip is going to bring him back.
Yeah. The concept of if that's a small mention, that the concept of her stealing Jade's title.
That's weird.
This is the thing. Okay, so it's like, where's the TBS title? It's in a significantly far more entertaining place.
That's very true.
Which just goes to show you that like Jade needs to do more, because as a champion, she's very boring.
Yes.
And it's like with Nyla, not even officially having it, being like, this is already more entertaining than Jade.
Well, they're actually doing something, because like even I would say the only entertaining feud or thing that they did with Jade was the Athena stuff. Like,
yeah, and that
like
kinda
what other
out.
feud did they even actually build up for Jade? Like they really haven't.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Boo.
And then
Boo this woman. Boo.
Soraya
Saraya.
has
Soraya?
kind of disappeared.
Is it Soraya?
As of last
What are you
week.
talking about? She was on the show this week.
She was?
Yeah.
When?
She did a backstage promo with Renee Paquette and
that's not
Britt
really
Baker was
on
like
the
blah
show.
blah blah blah, and she was like, "We're gonna sit down and have a discussion next week." So now
That's
she's
more
interviewing
just a
about that.
promo for next week, though.
Yeah. Okay. I think
For
it's
her to talk.
I think it's all building towards
It's in some ways like the CM Punk thing. Is she gonna wrestle, or is she at the company, or what?
I think she is. I think personally, I think maybe next week, because they're having the like one-on-one promo thing. I wouldn't be surprised if next week she challenges her to a match at Full Gear.
You know, it'd be really cool.
What?
To have an actual match.
Yep.
On Full Gear, that is two women fighting and a title isn't involved.
I agree.
That would be lovely. Can we get
I
more
agree.
of those, please? Where it's just grudge matches that are fun to watch.
I agree.
Like,
I
that's why
think that's
Jungle
what it's.
Boy and Christian is fun because there's no title involved. We're just seeing what happens.
I think and so I think that's where this is going. I think
Take the MJF approach for everything.
yes.
Put a backstory behind it.
I
Put some
think
more meat.
I think that's where this is going. I think one of them challenges the other to a match at Full Gear. I don't know that the other accepts it next week.
That's true.
I wouldn't be surprised if like
That's
Britt
true.
Baker gets pissed off and she's like, "I challenge you to a match at Full Gear," and like that'll be how it ends, right? And then Saraya will come out and in front of the live crowd the following week accept the challenge. So then you get like the loud audience pop of her like being like, "Yeah." But yes, I think this is where it's going. I think we're getting a one-on-one match at Full Gear with them too.
I want stories thicker than Willow's thighs, just full of meat. Thicker.
That's thick with like
That's a thick woman.
3 C's.
3 C's.
Reese's.
3 C's.
Reese's.
3 C's. Reese's.
3
Anyway,
C's. Reese's.
so yeah, it's just been.
So what's the deal? Dynamite pulled the thing that I thought they weren't going to do till Full Gear
What's that?
with MJF. I thought MJF was going to keep telling them to stop, and then they were going to jump MJF in the title match and cost him the championship. But then he came out and pushed them off, and they jumped him after the Moxley match.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'm very confused as to where this is going. Because in my head, that turn, that thing should have happened at the pay-per-view. And that's happening before. So I'm like, are we just going with MJF being a face before he fights Moxley? Like,
I think what
I'm
we're
confused.
gonna get. How many weeks do we have
I think we have like 3.
till Full Gear? No, it's the
Let me look.
12th, isn't it? November 12th.
Let me look.
We have to have like 1 week left.
No, there's at least 2.
Well, I'm stupid. I'm stupid and I don't know how to count.
Full Gear's the 19th.
The 19th?
Yep,
Really?
let me pull up my calendar. That means we have 1, 2, 3 Dynamites. We have 3 Dynamites before Full Gear. And I like that Full Gear's a Saturday.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we have 3 Dynamites before
Why did I think the 12th?
before Full Gear.
Is that another week?
The 12th is the weekend before.
Am I stupid?
Maybe.
Anyway,
We've already determined you're not feeling Ucey.
I'm definitely not Ucey. I definitely don't feel Ucey till someone puts a finger up my boosey. Anyway,
Ooh.
that's a boy pussy. Anyway, Ucey sounds too much like pussy, so I was like, yeah, I don't like that.
Ucey. I think that was
girl,
that
give me
was
some
what
of that Ucey.
that so what's great is Roman like almost broke when Sami Zayn said it, and then the crowd started chanting it, and that's what
That
broke
set Roman.
Roman.
By the way, title of the episode.
Ucey.
Feeling a little Ucey.
A little Ucey.
What did you just do that for?
It was your phone that buzzed, not mine.
Don't
Look,
worry
I
about
made the Olympics.
So I was gonna say something, and I can't remember what it was.
We were talking about
Um,
MJF and the firm turning on him already.
I believe what we're gonna get is a couple weeks in. We're going to get some point John Moxley and MJF versus the firm, whether it's the Ass Boys, some kind
you
of
think
tag
before
team.
the
And then it's gonna become
before the pay-per-view?
a straight out brawl at the end. And what's going to happen is the Blackpool Combat's going to come out, and Moxley at one point is going to possibly shake MJF's hand before the Full Gear match, I think,
That's interesting.
and have an actual
See, this is-
respectful match.
Yeah, see, this is weird because
Because then
I
if
don't
Moxley
know.
or if MJF wins, he can actually be like, "Yep, he beat me."
Yeah, see, that's a weird thing because they had the whole because the firm thing kept happening, where he kept telling them no. My head was like, all right, this is where MJF goes full babyface, and the firm screws him out of the championship. Moxley
think-
can go into whatever, and MJF can go into whatever.
And I think he's going to be babyface until he gets the title, and then he's just going to go back to his normal stuff. Because
Right.
he's going to hold the character should hold on to the title as much as he can, even if he's got to cheat to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I don't want to subvert and go, hey, he's a good guy, and then have him be a bad to win the title. I think that's not. I think even Maxwell Jacob Friedman does not want MJF to win it in a cheap way if he's going to win the AEW title, at least for the first time.
Yeah, which is odd because I feel like that would have been perfect for his character, but now with where his character is now, I don't know. So I forget who. I was talking to somebody and they had said like, what if it's all a ploy and like MJF uses the firm to win the championship, and this whole thing has just been like him trying to like get in Moxley and other people's heads, and like it's all a ruse.
I mean, it'd be very clever as well. Either way, this is the thing. Either way, no matter what happens, it's fucking amusing as fuck.
Yeah.
And I'm so interested in what's gonna happen. So it's just like that's what I mean. MJF is
It's
Maxwell Jacob Friedman. That's what I say when I mean the kayfabe version of him, because it's the same name.
yeah.
The character that he plays is so interesting because he knows how to get people to keep on watching.
Yeah. It is weird seeing them like tread this babyface heel line because like he'll say something, get a babyface reaction, and immediately say something to try to get a heel reaction because he doesn't want
He's
the
too
babyface
over.
reaction.
He's too fucking over. Is the problem?
Right.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It is. I just think it's funny because like he will like say something, the crowd pops, and like I don't know if you noticed.
Fuck you.
Yeah, but then he immediately says something to try to get them to boo because he doesn't want them to cheer him.
It's like, Kibbles, I love
is
your house
weird.
so much, but it's garbage.
It's
That's
garbage.
where you're like, oh, thank you, and they go, but it's garbage. Bam, salt of the earth. Mid. This is a weird thing too. Like, I don't know if he did it or if it's just a thing that's been happening. But you ever have that like that word that keeps coming up? That's what's been happening all the time now.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things where people are using the term mid, and I'm like, I get it, but like, it's gonna die down eventually, and I hate that. I hate fucking,
like
I hate
like
fucking
anything.
fads. I wish TikTok would die. That's been quite congruent though. It's been successful. Anyway, sorry, we got on way too much.
The acclaimed are allowed to scissor again.
They are, but they don't have daddy ass. Which that's another interesting storyline. I'm gonna be honest. After Friday, did you watch?
I didn't.
Okay, so guess what?
I have no
I get
idea
to
what
explain
happened.
something that happened Friday. Okay, so there was a match between Keith Lee, and this is the important part. It's not Serpentico and Keith Lee. The match starts. Serpentico gives him a right hand, and then Keith Lee powerbombs him and pins him and wins.
Okay, good.
So then the Acclaim come out, and then Bowen starts off and goes, cut the music. There's weird. Sorry, we're not going to give you guys a rap tonight. And everyone's, oh my God, it's the worst fucking noise ever. But he was like, we have to ask you a question, Keith Lee, and we know you have an answer to it. And they run in the ring and they go, we've been contacting Daddy Ass all day. He has not responded. Go figure who's the one person who's not around in the ring. But Swerve Strickland does this like creepy video where he's like kind of like the Joker from Dark Knight where he kills that one guy dressed as Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like doing this whole monologue, and then the whole time you can see Billy Gunn in the background, and he's like telling him to shut up and like trying to like just interrupt him as much as possible. And essentially, he took a pair of pliers and kind of like tried to break Billy Gunn's fingers. But like it's at a point where like if you were behind me and like on my shoulder with your head, he was like, and like the camera's like right here. So I'm like, he's definitely hurting my fingers, like that kind of thing, where it's like behind his back. So it's that kind of concept where then the Acclaimed ran out and went to go chase after him, and Keith Lee's like, what the fuck? I had nothing to do with this. So like that's gonna be interesting too.
Interesting.
Because as much as I like it, I would love to see Swerve and Our Glory fight, even if it's like a grudge match.
Yeah, I think it's eventually leading to that.
Yeah, it's because you can't have a heel turn on half of a tag team, which is what's been happening.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I mean, if the team breaks up, of course you're gonna be like, well, why would Keith Lee be the bad guy? He's too regal.
Yeah, there's
Indubitably. He's so fucking great. He was born in the wrong era.
Yep. Top
He
guys.
should be a British nobleman.
Out.
What? That's not the same thing.
Oh, you're right.
That's FTR.
You're right. 7-star FTR.
By the way, 7-star FTR is fucking fantastic. And the funny thing is, if I was a kid, I would not like them whatsoever because they are pretty boring as far as a kid standard. There's nothing flashy or amusing about them. They're just fucking entertaining wrestlers.
Yeah,
They're just a good fucking tag team.
and I hope they beat the shit out of the Ass Boys.
The Ass Boys. Oh yeah, I guess that's what they got to do next, huh?
The Ass Boys. Well, the Ass Boys cost them the number one contendership.
Yeah.
It happened. We saw it.
Yeah, I feel like that's too. That'd be too weird though. Like, cause in my head I'm like, well, yeah, we could do like the Firm and the Firm and MJF and the Moxley thing, but I'm like, well, FTR could come out and help MJF. I'm like, oh, I don't know if we could do that, because then it's like the Pinnacle kind of reunion. I'm like, I don't know if anyone wants to see that, and would they want to do that? Like if we had an interaction with Wardlow and MJF, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Is Wardlow's gonna be like, get the fuck away from me, or is it gonna be
Yeah.
like
Understandable.
like you see an ex-lover and you go, oh, hey,
Yeah.
how you doing?
I was super hyped that Spears came out and did the 10 thing.
Yeah, it was. I was not expecting it, but I was like, oh yeah, this makes sense. Canada, all that. I was
Yeah.
like, that makes sense.
10.
I was surprised that, and I didn't watch it when it happened, but I can't think of their name now.
10. 10.
10?
10.
10?
10.
10? Maria.
Oh, yeah.
Maria. That's
With Mike Kanellis and
she makes me really Ucey.
and who's the other guy?
Some other guy. It's like Tevin, Michael Tevin or something like that. I could be wrong. I don't
Something
really
like
care.
that.
Wardlow
Taven.
beat the shit out of him. Taven, that's it. Wardlow beat the shit out of him. Doesn't matter.
Warjoe.
Anywho,
Warjoe.
speaking of which, let's talk about titles who aren't being used properly. Samoa Joe and Wardlow feel like they just.
Yeah. There's this weird thing with Wardlow where I feel like they like him. He has the championship. He is over. But I feel like he might have the Goldberg effect where nobody wants to see him in an actual match. They want to see him in a short match where he demolishes somebody and does the powerbomb thing.
Well, listen,
and so that is like
he's a good
a
wrestler.
hindrance upon his.
That's the thing where like people are building him up as Goldberg, and that's the thing. You see a big dude and you go, "Oh, it's like Goldberg," but he's like, this guy does a fucking moonsault.
Right. Well,
He's like Bam Bam Bigelow, if anything.
Right. The people are building him up as Goldberg, and then the AEW brass booked him to be Goldberg.
Kinda, yeah.
I mean, he would come out and just powerbomb somebody
I mean,
and
he's
walk
not
away.
undefeated though.
Correct. Yeah,
be
no,
worse.
yeah. They booked his matches like Goldberg matches generally, mostly.
Well,
I don't know. I mean,
Well, when you look at like
he's got to do something.
him
now.
and Brian Cage was a great match.
Oh yeah,
It was
absolutely.
fantastic. I
Yeah.
loved it. But it's still that thing of
This is an instance where, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like this is an instance where I'm like, can we get a Ring of Honor weekly television show going so that way Ring of Honor people can go over there and do that?
Yeah.
And
then have people kind of come back and forth between.
yeah,
shows.
people can go back and forth between two shows, but then we don't need to feel like we have to hammer home so much ROH stuff on Dynamite.
Well, I mean,
and maybe certain people will then start kind of.
And you did see the article
having
about
shots.
him saying that after, excuse me, was it Final Fight or something?
Yeah,
After that, he's going to try to set up a show.
he said that there are interested. He said something along the lines of there are interested parties, and he expects there to be a show in 2023.
Which will be good. I think things will kind of even out as soon as we get that.
Yeah, I think that's part of the problem. Is there's like a lot of he has so much talent that like you can only get over and do so many storylines and things at a time.
Only
and
do so much.
Yeah, you can only do so much. I think that's a hindrance on AEW's part right now.
Yeah.
He signed too much talent.
Signed too much talent.
I mean,
Signed too much
that was
talent.
ultimately a semi downfall of WCW and TNA if you think about it. Like
Signed
part of
too
their
much talent.
fall from grace. I mean, their particular issue was signing too much ex WWE talent.
Yeah.
Which an argument could be made that AEW's done a little too much.
Yeah, but I mean, I think with AEW, they've signed the people that have gotten rid of, that WWE have gotten rid of, but aren't bad. Like, there's people back then, I think, when TNA was taking talent from WWE, it wasn't people who were like, we just can't keep you. It wasn't like oh, you're great, but we have to make budget cuts. It was like we're just getting rid of you. And it's
Yeah.
like people like Jeff Jarrett, I'm like, I'm not really interested in Jeff Jarrett. Like, it's not, some of these people that they hired for TNA are not people compared to Adam Cole, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan. I'm like, I like those people, and you
Yeah.
guys kind of just got rid of them because you had to. Well, you know what I mean. Not,
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yep.
But
I
yeah,
gotcha.
it's just been a constant, like, with that, I think it's more so like the people who AEW went, we're not just going to say whoever because they're from WWE. We're taking people who are good in WWE
Right.
and bringing them over.
No, absolutely.
Not anything against Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah. But I would say that that AEW has a talent problem.
Oh yeah, it has too much
in
talent.
the sense that they have too much talent to use weekly and correctly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
that's the problem.
I agree. But is there anything else that we wanted to bring up? I don't think Black Adam did well on a wrestling standpoint. I wouldn't want to watch it. I love the man, but I'm not going to go see it.
Wait,
Black
on
Adam?
a wrestling standpoint? I'm
Yeah.
confused.
The Rock, because it's The Rock.
But I mean, what do you mean on a wrestling
I don't know, because it's The Rock, and we talk about wrestling, and The Rock is the wrestler.
Okay.
That's it.
I mean, it made a lot of money.
With James Gunn, it's going to be probably a big change.
Yeah. So I found it.
Did you see it?
I did not see it.
Oh.
I want to see
I
it.
thought you were going to bring it up. They're like, oh, it was.
Well, so here's the thing. I want to see it. I think unless this doesn't follow the formula of all the other Warner Brothers movies, I have HBO Max, and right now Warner Brothers movies go to
you're
HBO
gonna
Max.
be able to
I think
see
it's
it.
like 45 days after theatrical release.
I have it too. I should be able to watch it, but
So I legitimately was like, oh, it came out by Christmas. I'll be able to watch it on HBO. So I'll just wait for HBO.
So this is the thing, and I know this is a nerdy thing, and we're not wrestling involved. I mean, the only thing that's it's just The Rock. Is that the only thing that's? But my point is that like the thing that doesn't get me excited for it is because like he's not a good guy.
He's not supposed to be.
But you're trying but he's eventually going to be.
He's an anti-hero.
Yeah, but he's still going to be. You know what I mean? Like he's still going to be. There's never going to be a point where.
Yeah. Here's what I'll say.
It's like MJF, where it's like you can't market him as a good guy because he's always been a bad guy. You know what I mean?
I think I heard, I should say. I've read a couple reviews and watched a couple reviews, and it seems like a lot of people said that the beginning is okay.
Cut and paste.
It's a little it's a little like not story heavy. I forget what the word is. Where the
exposition.
Exposition. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. I heard that the first third of the movie is a little exposition heavy, so it's okay. The second third of the movie I heard is actually really good. Like him and when he wakes back up and he's interacting with the Justice, not the Justice League,
Justice Society.
Yeah, the Justice Society. I heard that all the stuff with the Justice Society is actually really good, and like that the like second third of the movie, I've heard a lot of people say is really good. Like all that stuff with them is really good. And then they said that the final third of the movie becomes insert generic bad guy that magically comes up for no reason that he has to then go and defeat.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's
which, I'll be honest, I always figured was going to happen.
The concept of like, don't make him a don't make him a villain. If you're going to take The Rock, who everyone mostly for the majority loves, don't fucking take a character that's going to be a bad guy and make it The Rock. Make him someone like, I don't know, anybody else.
Well, that's why they took Black Adam, and he's not a bad guy. He's an anti-hero.
That's bullshit.
He becomes a hero at the end.
That's bullshit. Yeah, but what's going to happen in if they keep on doing movies with him in it?
Oh, they're gonna keep doing movies in it.
Well, that's
There's
what
an
I'm saying.
after-credit scene with him
That's what I'm
that
saying.
I
Like,
think
what-
will
what-
continue his story.
What are they going to do?
I don't know. I did
They're just
remember
going to replace him with Superman?
maybe.
I know, I already heard.
I do find it interesting. I texted you this. I found it interesting that and I think I honestly believe it was on purpose. I'm not surprised that they announced James Gunn is co-president or co-CEO or whatever of DC Film and Television Division or whatever. And they announced it the day after the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special trailer dropped.
Well,
Which looks fucking hilarious.
It's like AEW and WWE. Don't make it seem like they're enemies. They're just both trying to make money.
yeah.
Also, if you feel like you've been spoiled on Superman being at the end of Black Adam, go fuck yourself. Who cares?
Damn.
Also, The Rock in. By the way, Mr. Sunday Movies did this. This is the reference I have. Mr. Sunday Movies said that in interviews, The Rock didn't hide the fact that Henry Cavill is in the movie. He was like, "Oh yeah, now that we have Superman back and blah blah blah." He didn't hide that aspect.
Okay.
So The Rock did a
Maybe
lot of
he's-
interviews and
he's
mentioned
trying to get
Superman.
people to watch it.
Exactly.
Well, also apparently the critics gave it a bad score, but from general audiences it got a decent score and it made a lot of money. So not Marvel movie money, but I think somebody was saying it made. I think I saw somewhere that it made it was the most grossing DC film since Justice League or something like that.
I would love to talk about Werewolf by Night with you.
Yeah.
But there's no wrestlers in it.
That's true.
Although,
So we'll cut the podcast.
Although,
Oh, we won't cut the podcast.
well, no, I was gonna make this joke of although the man thing is played by Carrie Jones, who plays Chrysanthemum in the Book of Boba Fett, who also is in a Book of Boba Fett. Also has the Mandalorian in it, who had Sasha Banks in it as one of the Mandalorians.
That's a stretch.
I did it. I did it though.
6 degrees of
By the way,
Wrestling.
she was at the red carpet for Black Panther 2, and now everyone's like, "Oh, she's hanging out with the New Day and all these people."
So
I'm
is
like,
yeah, I saw the New Day was
be like, "Yeah,
there.
because one of Naomi is married to one of the Usos, isn't she?"
Yeah.
It's like, "Yeah, of course she hung out with them." It's like,
You fucking doofus.
yeah, you fucking idiots.
You
Anyway,
fucking idiot.
we hope. Hey, I can't wait for Sasha Banks to come back to WWE. She probably will. Who knows?
She apparently tweeted out she made a tweet this week that said, "Gee, I hope the rumors are true."
Exactly. So wrestling is as lovely as it's always been.
Yep.
It's been almost a month since it was recorded.
And we're back.
And we're back.
We're like those dinosaurs.
Oh my god, what a great movie.
We're back.
That's a deep cut. I don't know.
That's a
if
deep
I don't
cut.
know if anyone's gonna know what
That's
you're
a
talking
deep
about.
cut.
John Goodman, I know that.
That is deep.
John Goodman is the only person I can
I
think of.
don't
who
think
was in
it's a
that movie.
Disney movie either, and
It's
that's why
not.
it's a deep cut.
No, it's fucking dark too. You remember when they
Oh
turned the
yeah, it
kids
is a
into,
dark
into
movie.
monkeys?
Yeah,
It's fucking weird.
they turn the kids into monkeys. The dinosaurs get all scary and shit.
Oh yeah,
and-
real. They get
yeah,
real.
They get real.
That
was a deep movie.
Yeah, that was a scary
Or
movie.
a
at the
scary
end.
movie rather.
Yeah,
That's a deep cut.
yeah. It is a deep
I
cut.
loved that
and a
movie as a
scary
kid
movie.
though.
So thanks for watching Kills and Pookie Squared
See
Circle.
if you can figure out what we're talking about.
Yeah, go look up We're Back.
We're back.
And the Hitcher from Mighty Boosh and tell me that doesn't look like Uncle Howdy.
Yeah.
Look, just put stuff in the comments. Give us questions. That's what we should do.
Yeah.
I'm at 100 subscribers now. We should have enough people to just send questions.
Send me some questions.
And by the way, and I know this is going to happen, do not, Bones, do not put a stupid-ass question in there. Because even more so if we call the episode Feeling a Little Ucey. Or
Ucey?
Ucey? I keep fucking it up. Trying to make it dirtier than it is. Feeling a little Ucey, then he's gonna be like, "What's this about?"
Yeah, if you give
Give us a legit wrestling
if you
question.
give us a stupid question, I'm gonna Samuel L. Jackson you, or I'm gonna Nick Fury you, and say, given that's a stupid ass question, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna answer it.
Don't give me a stupid ass question.
From I think it was the first Avengers.
Maybe.
They were like, we gave you an order. And he's like, given it's a stupid ass order, I'm electing not to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So give us a question, anybody at all. It could be, if it's wrestling related. Now, this is the thing. If it has to do with a wrestler, I don't care. Just make sure, even as silly as it is, that's fine. Just as long as it's a question about wrestling and nothing else.
Yeah.
I don't want some stupid, like, I don't know. Something.
Listen, there's a lot of things you could ask us about. Look up Luigi Primo. You could ask us about that.
Oh my
Look
God.
up the dog that wrestled a person. You
That
could
stupid.
you could ask us about that.
That was
It
stupid.
was entertaining as fuck to
No,
me.
it
I thought it
was
was hilarious.
Next week, we're going to go talk about the wrestling dog and Luigi Primo, maybe. I don't know. We probably won't remember.
We'll see.
We'll see. Thanks for listening, and see you guys next time.
Don't forget to do the needful.
It's like asking for forgiveness.
I don't know. I'll have to go look up, see what happened.
I'll once again say that We the Ones doesn't make any sense, but Bray Wyatt.
We the Ones. I remember the first time I saw that, I was like, we the Ones. No, I saw it at a pay-per-view because I didn't know they were saying we the Ones, and I